Hey, welcome back. And this is Tom at salesmadeeasy.com. And this is our weekly podcast, Sales Made Easy. So I want to make some sales easier for you and using all the things I've gone through all my life. So today I really want to talk about something I talked about before. It's creating that first impression. But the difference is, have you ever gone to some conferences or have you ever gone to a networking? So here's what I want you to do. Number one, go ahead and try this. Jot some notes down because I want notes down because I want you to try this. And I'll hit subscribe and email me, Tom at salesmadeeasy.com, if any of these things work for you. So you're going to a networking thing or a conference, right? And it's going to take a few seconds. But the last thing you want is when someone says, what do you do? The last thing you want is to show up and throw up. And no offense, those of you that do multi-level marketing. So something I'm going to change there is it's those first few seconds. Find out if they're a prospect. Your job is to delineate suspects from prospects. The way to do that is stop telling them what you do. What I want you to do is when someone says, what do? You say, not much, what do you do? Now, as you can tell, I've been doing this for a lot of years. And in all my years of doing this, nobody has ever said, I asked you first. Everybody has started telling me what they did. And guess what? I am now qualifying you quicker than ever before. If there's a group of 3 or 4 people talking in a circle, I'll get a cup of coffee, club soda, whatever. I'll kind of squeeze in the middle of them until someone says, what do you do? And I go, not much. What do you guys do? And everybody kind of runs around and tells me what they do. And whatever someone says to me, whether it's a conference or something else, the first thing I say is not much. What do you do? And then after that, they start telling me what they do. I start asking questions about it. Really? How long you've been doing that? Boy, that's got to be a tough job. Wow. And I start inquiring. It's amazing. People love talking about themselves and their issues and their problems. And I might get to that point of, since I do work with salespeople and sales teams, I would say, well, you probably don't have any sales issues. It's amazing how many people say, oh my goodness, that's our biggest problem. And they start telling me their problems. So no matter what you're selling, don't go into sell mode. Step 1, not much, what do you do? Step 2, when they start telling you, be inquisitive, get curious, be dumbly curious. In other words, by dumb, I mean like you know nothing. And whatever they say they do, say, oh, that's interesting. How long have you been doing that? How does that work? And start asking questions. And then you can steer it towards your world. If you're selling a widget for that company, you can sit there and say, well, do you have any problem with inventory? And you might hear, oh my goodness, inventory is not the problem, but what we have to pay for inventory is a problem. Tell me about that. So first things first, it's not about you, it's about them. Second thing, when they start telling you, ask some inquisitive questions. Third thing is once you start asking those questions and they say something, that's when you can sit there and say, well, you know what, it's interesting. We work with people like yourself. And typically when I work with someone like yourself, they are really worried about the exact same thing you're worried about. It makes sense for us to talk 5-10 minutes, not here now, I know you're busy, but some other time. And go for an appointment, whether it's a 5-minute phone appointment, to set it up. Just don't leave it that way. All right, now here's a little tricks I want you to do. When you're at networking and what have you, there's a lot of people you got to talk to. I used to always set a goal for myself that when I went to one of these things, I got 5 business cards from people that could either buy from me or introduce me to someone that could buy from me. That was my goal. By the way, when you go to a networking event, always have a goal. So I'd set that goal. And so some nights where I had to go to this networking thing, 5:30, I was home by 6 o'clock because I found 5 people in the first half hour and I got to go home and be with my wife. Other times, I'd be sitting there at 10 o'clock at night talking to the bartender going, hey, you don't think you want to buy sales training, do you? But here's the thing. I wanted to figure out how to do that quickly. So stop spending time with people that can't buy from me. And because they can be time wasters. So trick is always have in the morning half a cup of coffee. In the evening, if it's an evening thing, I have club soda with lime. And so it's very easy for me when I start talking to you and I realize you don't know anyone you can introduce me to. You're not in my industry, no one that can help me. I don't want to be rude, but it's very easy for me to say, I'm going to go get another cup of coffee. You want to join me? 90% of the time they go, no, I'm good. And I get to go cup of coffee. Or I'll sit there and have a drink and I'll sit there and say, I'm going to get another drink. Excuse me while I get another drink. And I go away and get a drink. And that's how I excuse myself. And the other way is, of course, using the bathroom as many times as possible. So there's the rule. Number one, it's not about you, it's about them. If you're networking at a conference, it's not much. What do you do? Be inquisitive. Ask them about their job, how long they've been there, what do they love about it, what they hate about it, what's the biggest problems they're having. When you hit on something that maybe is a chord that says you might be able to help them, stop and mention, hey, typically I work with CEOs like yourself and they are concerned about, and stop there and say, well, it makes sense for us to go ahead and get a 5-minute phone call on the books so we can talk and see if there's a reason for us to get further. Set the appointment. And lastly, have a way to nicely excuse yourself out of a conversation. So, final thoughts, put some notes on paper. If you heard this, listen to it again. Go try it. I'd love to hear. Hit subscribe and email me and let me know if it tried it and if it's working. Anyways, listen for some more tips on how to build your business. This is Tom at salesmadeeasy.com. This is where we make your sales easier. See you next time.